welcome to Arrow on Target. If you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that we skipped last week's episode on YouTube. Head over to iTunes or Stitcher and catch up on that if you watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
We actually, there was a couple of things where we ended up having to do it and not be in the same location, and so that is only audio. It's an audio only episode of Arrow on Target. Chris, this episode was called Suicidal Tendencies, and we dealt with the Suicide Squad again.
We did.
Boom! Suicide Squad's in the news a lot.
Which has apparently been depleted.
Yep.
And is now depleted even more.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we start here. Like, I was thinking on this episode, like, first of all, this episode was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like, this episode reminded me of season 1 in all the best ways. Like, where while I was watching this episode, I was like, this is just fun. This is just a fun episode of television because, I mean, you just have all these weird, crazy situations and these plot twists and turns, and it made me excited for the potential of a team-up show in this universe.
Nice.
Like, because think about, like Deathstroke and, like, that whole situation. What if you're dealing with a lot of those type of things, like the things that Diggle had dealt with and Lila dealt with this episode, for some cool episodes of TV?
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Well, this is the thing. We know we would see the Atom in a team-up show, probably.
Right?
Who's left on the Suicide Squad besides Cupid?
Dude, do you really think that he's dead? I really don't know if Floyd Lawton's dead.
I don't know.
My thing is this. I think this. He sees that almost the only way out is...
Wouldn't they be able to know?
I don't know. They do maybe have those chips in them.
They have
I don't know.
chips in their brain.
I don't know. That's interesting. Or, I don't know. Or maybe this was something that Amanda Waller set up somehow. I don't know.
No, that's
like, there's
possible.
a lot of things that are possibilities. We didn't actually see him, like, get killed.
Yeah.
We didn't see arrows go into him like we saw with Canary. It felt very similar to how we dealt with Sarah's death, where she just kind of, like, got whooshed away on the ship originally.
Right.
And the same exact thing happened to her again on, whenever we thought she was dead again. And so, like, it felt very close to that. So that's the only reason that I'm leaning towards, like, he's probably not dead.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to see him again. Maybe not until the team-up show, but on the team-up show, maybe.
Yeah. I also want to know, like, who else... I can't remember exactly who else was on the team that we've lost.
I don't remember who was on it before, because he was the main one.
And they referenced, like, Harley Quinn at one point.
Right, and there was actually some sort of a door and, like, I don't know, like, there was some interesting things with, like, the Harley Quinn and, like, Joker situation.
Yeah.
And it's, like, obviously, I think now that that those two characters are in the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be able to touch those guys.
So is Deadshot, though. Maybe that's why they're getting rid of Deadshot, you think?
That's a good theory, but I don't know.
Because Cupid's not in the movie.
I don't know, dude.
Maybe they want to keep anyone on the big screen off of the small screen.
That's interesting, and that's a weird way to
Although
do
they
it.
have the Flash television show, and the Flash will show up in...
That's true.
The
Justice League. And he actually has his own standalone planned for, like, 2018 or something like that.
Yeah.
So... And but yeah, so like it was interesting to see them come back. But I loved this episode because it felt so exciting, and like they were, it's like we had the all the gunplay, and I would love to see like a chart of all of the deaths, like the between season 1 of the Arrow, where he's just waxing dudes left and right, putting arrows into guys, and then like this episode, the body count was super high. Like they're walking into this thing just spraying guys with machine guns and stuff, and that was it's exciting. It's just
like I also always loved seeing Diggle.
Yeah.
In the action.
Yeah.
He's in the thick of it.
Oh, dude, he is amazing. And Lila is awesome, and so is Cupid. Like, I was surprised, because, like, Cupid, whenever she first showed up on the show, like, I enjoyed the stalkerish kind of creepy things that were going on, but it was like, I really didn't buy her as, like, a viable, like, hero or, like, whatever, or even a villain to that extent. But in this episode, she really kind of, it was, everybody played their part. Everybody had, like, action moments. Everybody had, like, butt-kicking moments. Yeah. And it's like, that was really cool to see.
Yeah. It was cool to see her become obsessed with Deadshot.
It's just the next person to save her life,
yep.
The next
whoever
person.
it is. And the next, she'll be obsessed with the next person.
Exactly.
Do you think that...
just needs to learn to save her own life.
At the end of the episode, we saw, like, Lila decide she's going to move away from Argus, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that we now lose our connection to the Suicide Squad and Argus?
I don't know. Like, I think that I don't know if we lose our connection, but Amanda Waller doesn't seem like the kind of person to let someone just quit something like that.
That's true. You know, and I also think I don't remember what was happening, but like a couple episodes ago, Team Arrow needed something, and Diggle was like, "I'll call Lila."
Yeah.
And like somehow Argus helped them out. You know.
Well, and we have in the flashbacks with Arrow with Oliver. We have him working for Amanda Waller, so I want to see how he gets out of that situation.
Yeah.
How does he get out from under Amanda Waller's thumb?
Yeah.
And it's like if like that obviously doesn't seem like it would be super easy. Like I don't know if you put in your 2-week notice with Amanda Waller.
Right.
Like it just seems like she would find a way to manipulate you back into working for her. And so it'd be interesting to see maybe a parallel episode where we're flashing back to Oliver trying to get out of that and Lila trying to get out of it at the same time.
That'd be cool.
That would be a fun episode.
Yeah. It was cool to see Deadshot's past.
Oh yeah.
Like that was really and to kind of see how that story fit into I can't remember Diggle's brother what his name is, but his death.
Yes. And what's interesting, like was Andrew Diggle? I'm pretty sure it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Pretty sure it was. Anyway, but like we saw him in the flashbacks with Oliver before, like they were both kind of standing at that party and they were like talking and stuff, and that was really fun. And so it's nice to see like some context to more of Diggle's past, and how that ties into Deadshot's past. And the Deadshot flashbacks kind of reinforced in my mind that we may not need so many like Oliver focused flashbacks.
Yeah, no, I don't think we do at all, and I think we've discussed that before, where like they've kind of flashbacks have kind of gotten stale now, where they really don't relate to the main story. They kind of have their own agenda. They just kind of take up time, and they really are at their strongest whenever they do contribute to the main story, and they can contribute to like maybe your understanding better of what's going on currently. And
for sure.
So like in that way, like it's just kind of like these kinds of episodes are special because it does feel like the flashbacks mean something, and they relate to the main storyline.
For sure. And something else I loved about this episode, and moving away from kind of Diggle and Lila's story into the more of the core of Team Arrow's story, it was nice to see everybody kind of contribute to the plot line in very like solid ways. And they all seemed pretty emotionally stable this episode. So that was nice to not see someone go like completely like I hate you or like go off the walls with that. It was nice to see them acting as a unit and responding to this threat as a team. Yeah. But even Laurel, like whenever she's sitting there with him and she's like basically blocking him from pursuing Oliver in the court system. So yeah,
that was cool. Like I like it whenever the Team Arrow works in sync, works in unison, works together. It was, I guess this was the inevitable butting of heads between Ray and Oliver. It was interesting. So there's two things that about him finding out who Oliver was. Number one, it was interesting how easy it was.
The facial recognition.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so there's a little bit of something there. Yeah, Andy Diggle is his name, by the way. I was just looking that up. It's a little bit of interesting, like where they just were like, oh, Felicity developed it. We believe it. You know. Right.
So, but then again, okay, if Felicity developed it, why would she not take all of their faces out of it?
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. He completely like blindsided her with this because she didn't even know that he had the suit operational.
For sure.
And so maybe that was on her to-do list later on.
I mean, if I don't know. Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, you're right. It's like if you're a vigilante, why would you want to put your face anywhere near facial recognition? Like even if you're pulling from the internet or whatever, just any mention of Oliver Queen, you just gotta erase it.
Ignore it.
Yeah, just ignore
Oliver Queen equal ignore.
Right. Yeah. And so, well, we say that, but we don't know anything about computer programming.
No, but it's that easy.
But it is fictional in the first place.
If Felicity can develop that,
if you can develop an X-ray vision, basically.
Yeah. My second thing is, Oliver is better at telling other people how to romance Felicity than he is at romancing Felicity.
Dude, it's And like
that's stupid.
That's really stupid and completely like wrong. Like I mean, like whenever he's talking to her and like they had that conversation, and she was like, "You just don't want me to be with him," and it's like, okay, so that's partially right, but it's also partially wrong. You know, it's also like, yeah, he definitely. I don't know.
He'd rather her be with him, but he'd rather her also be happy. But the problem is, every single time he tries to make her happy, he does something stupid. But yet he can tell...
He totally does something stupid.
But you can,
all the time.
He can tell Ray what to do, the perfect thing to do to win her back.
Well, Ray kind of is like this Superman kind of character on this show right now.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. The whole Ray Palmer thing, like, okay, so there's something weird there. Like, there's one thing. There's a couple, like, small, like, little tweaks, like, that I would have with this episode. So, like, I'm not trying to be, like, super critical on it, but it's, like, I do want to point it out. Like, the press conference. They have this press conference, and they have the chief of police, or the captain of the police department talk. That makes sense, right? They have the mayor talk. That makes sense, right? And then they have Ray Palmer, just a millionaire who lives in town. And he gets up and talks. Oh, we have a statement from Ray Palmer. What? Who invited this guy?
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, like, obviously...
It'd be like Bill Gates taking over some White House press briefing.
Or, like, or even just the city that he lives in. Like,
yeah.
or you know, it's like if somebody who lives in... A billionaire from San Francisco walks up and is like, hey, I got a statement about public safety. You know, and it's like, I realize maybe, I mean, he's probably funding the police department. Like, that's where he's putting his money. He's funding the city. He's, like, doing a lot for the city. But unless he's, like, running for mayor or, like, public office somehow, or holds a public office, I just don't see how he gets that.
I agree.
Like, I don't see how that's appropriate for someone.
I mean, I agree. And we've seen those kinds of just kind of, like, even still, the courtroom kind of stuff still feels super, super, like, fake and not realistic. And so, like, whenever we get down into the nitty-gritty of how this... city's government works, everything kind of falls apart.
Right.
In terms of the plot.
Yeah. Well, and we had the city, what's his name? The guy with the mask last season who was like...
Oh, he was the alderman.
Yeah, the alderman who's like doing, like, making public statements and like all that horror thing. That made more sense.
That makes more sense, yeah.
That made more sense.
Sure.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, that made more sense than this. And like... So, I don't know. It's like, if he had held his own public press conference directly after that one...
you can do that.
I would have totally been okay with it.
There's a
Problem solved.
Palmer Industries press conference.
Exactly. Like, oh, and now we flip over to the Palmer Industries press conference, and Ray Palmer has this to say. That would have made more sense. Second, like, minor, like, irk. Ray Palmer... And this was something that one of our listeners, that Chris Dennison, super fan Chris Dennison, pointed out, and it makes perfect sense. It kind of like frustrates you. The Atom shocks the crap out of Roy.
Right.
Knocks him like it was violent. Yeah. Like it knocks him into this building. Yeah. Sending like lightning bolt things, like legitimately, I was like, is Roy okay?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and then not only do we never address the fact is if Roy is okay,
right?
After the fact, we don't even see him lurking around in the arrow cave in the background. Right. After that, Oliver has a whole conversation and then says something about Ray and Felicity's relationship and how to handle that, and then he walks off.
Yeah. Without
walking over to check if Roy's okay. Like, that's just super strange. Like, that oversight, that shouldn't have happened. You know, and maybe it's laying somewhere on a cutting room floor, like an editing room.
Yeah. Maybe
there's some footage that's sitting there. We'll never know, but it didn't make any sense to me. Just those two small, like, tweaks where I was like, this could have been easily solved by having Roy, like, getting patched up in the background, like, have Laurel patching up Roy in the background at the arrow cave or something after the fact. That would have solved all of those for me, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think another thing that I think was kind of... I mean, this was a fun episode, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I felt like it was a major departure from the main storyline.
It was.
That we're dealing with right now.
And part of me, like, I was refreshed by that because, like I said, it harkened back to season 1. But that also shows a weakness with potentially the ongoing storyline that we have going right now.
Well, like
the fact that we're into murky relationships.
A lot of this could have been part of like another episode that involves Ra's al Ghul. Like we could have seen more of Ray Palmer doing this kind of stuff like earlier. We probably could have brought in the Suicide Squad in an episode where Oliver's back in the city dealing with Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
It feels like a stalling tactic in order to like drag things with Ra's out until the season finale.
Yeah, and it's a fun. It was, like I said, it was a really fun. Like, I wouldn't, if I were to rate this episode like in comparison to some of the other ones, I enjoyed this one, watching this one more than a lot of the episodes since the mid-season. Yeah, exactly. And even the wedding beforehand, like the wedding, whenever you open with this wedding, and it's just awesome.
Yeah,
and it's awesome to see these characters that are so not like wedding people,
right?
In the wedding situation,
right?
Like, that's just fun, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like, yeah, you're right. We didn't really deal with a lot of things, and it did feel like an excuse to have Ray fight with Oliver and to have that whole showdown. And so, I don't know. I mean, it was a really fun episode, and I wouldn't remove it from the season.
Yeah.
But like I said, it might show some of the weakness of the plot lines that we have kind of ongoing.
Yeah.
For sure. For me, in my mind, anyway.
I agree.
That's basically all I had. What was your favorite moment of the episode? I didn't get a chance to get quotes this time, so that's one of.
I just like seeing the Atom suit working and in action.
Dude, that looked really, like, whenever he zips, like he comes around the pole and then punches Oliver.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
makes me wish Oliver had a super suit.
Dude, and like I liked Roy's.
Where's my super suit?
Dude, The Incredibles.
Yes.
My gosh. Dude, Roy's reaction.
Why do you need to know?
I liked Roy's reaction to the super suit too. He was like, "He has a super suit? That's cool."
Yeah.
Anyway, and then like he's like, "It is kind of cool."
You're telling me where my suit is, woman.
Dude, The Incredibles is the best superhero film ever made.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
Just throwing that out there. It's better than all of the rest.
Yes.
Yeah,
we should do a post review of that movie.
Oh my gosh. We totally should. Like,
yes.
Before the next one, because there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we need to do that. I've also thought about doing, on the main podcast, doing like a series of Star Wars episodes leading up to
it.
Yeah.
Bro.
Where we talk about each kind of movie and like that, and bring in special guests. And,
yes.
Yeah.
This needs to happen.
I really would at least a segment every week where we talk about it. Like maybe a shorter like segment where we maybe don't have somebody in the studio, but we have like a phone in or something.
I like it. Yes.
Oh, dude.
Anyway,
but yeah, so for sure an Incredibles.
We should play through
podcast.
Star Wars games on Twitch and play Star Wars music at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, exactly. I'll just have you hum it the whole time.
While we're playing.
Yes.
Battlefront will be out. Star Wars Battlefront. We could have the podcast stream Battlefront. Anyway,
this is the year of the Star Wars.
This is the year of the Star Wars. We did discuss how excited Star Wars and it coming back this year is making me this year.
Yeah. You said unreasonably excited.
I'm unreasonably excited about the
You can
new
find
Star
that
Wars
discussion
film.
on StandTargetPodcast.com on the main Stand Target podcast.
Back to Arrow.
Yeah.
We didn't do this for Flash, so maybe we should retroactively do how many boots for Flash this week?
3.
I would give it a 3.5 booter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then how many hoods for this episode?
3.5 hoods.
I give this one a 4 hood.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was just that fun factor that just brought it up that extra notch for me. That was really fun.
I agree with that. 4. I give it 4.
Yeah, dude. Again, it felt so much like season 1.
Let the record show. Strike that from the record, please. Now show let the record show that it's 4.
4.
Yeah.
4 hoods.
4 hoods.
4 gigantic hoods. Like I wish we had 5 hoods on. We should at one episode we should put on for the season finale. We'll put on 5 hoodies.
Oh my gosh.
And then we'll just like flip up however many it is.
I sound just be sweating like no other.
We're like all the pouring off of our faces.
Gross.
Because it'll be closer to the summer too, so it'll probably get hotter in this room.
That's disgusting.
Maybe we shouldn't do that.
No.
All right, that seems to be everything for this week.
You can find us online at StayOnTargetPodcast.com, on Twitter at ChrisWright250,
and JohnWright777,
and at StayOnTargetPod. Check us out on iTunes, on Stitcher, and on the web. You can
YouTube's
on YouTube. You can check out our Flash on Target podcast about CW's The Flash. We also have our main podcast. This week we talked about the campaign to Battlefield Hardline.
Yep.
Next week is our 100th episode. We have special things planned for that.
Lots of cool stuff.
It's going to be on YouTube and on online.
Yeah,
on
we
your
have
apps, all that kind of
we have a
stuff.
lot of fancy stuff planned for the video side of that. So
Yeah, make sure you check that out. And then the week after that, we're going to be reviewing the Walking Dead finale, which is this Sunday. So be sure to check that out as well.
lots of stuff.
Yes, lots of stuff.
Awesome.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you next time on
Arrow on Target.